Midweek racing coming through from Pietermaritzburg, and that is the capital of KwaZulu-Natal, as we go back there for an 8-race program on the turf and looking forward to a very good competitive card. Quite a few scratchings have come through, but the good news is that the conditions look to be in our favor as far as a full day's racing. Just remember, you can like us on both Twitter and WhatsApp. Do get in touch and give us your thoughts as to what we can do to improve, or perhaps you have benefited from the insight of our two resident tipsters, our experts, Darren Burrows and Daryl Marie. All right, let's get straight into this afternoon's meeting, and it's an 8-race program this afternoon, so we get straight into a bipod. It'll be Daryl Marie giving us his thoughts on the bipod. But let's first of all welcome Darren Burrows to the show and ask him how he sees the card this afternoon. Darren, welcome, and your thoughts on midweek racing coming through from Scottsville.
I think try and save up for the weekend, because this isn't an easy card. I mean, I've found a value bet and a best bet at value a bit later on in the card. I think that's in race 5, Hot Strike, and race 6, Pinstripe. But starting off in race 1, on pedigree alone, I have to like this horse, Million Voices. It's a Vercingetorix out of a very speedy dam, Captain's Lullaby, a Captain Almare. And I see Mike Miller has put Calvin Habib on debut, and there has been market support. I see she's just shortened 5-1. So I would include the 8. Grey Fantasy is one of the obvious selections on that good debut. Showed pace, was outrun late. But this is a juvenile race, a lot of first-timers. So I think Million Voices going to run a good race, even though I know nothing about her.
Yes, indeed. Mike has now developed a reputation for being a big supporter of the juvenile races. He's lost one, but he's still got as many as 7 runners in the race. And Darren has highlighted 2 of those, and that is Million Voices and the one Grey Fantasy. Do they make up any of your thought processes in the bipod? Good morning.
Morning, Cecil. Yeah, I've gone with 4 horses in the opening leg of the bipod, and I'm really not convinced I'm going to get through. I've put in all of the race runners, numbers 1, 5, 10, and 11. You can see there's very little separating all 4 of them on the
Just Reckless
run.
Yes.
So I'm hoping experience counts over here and one of them finish in the top 2, but I'm certainly not bullish. I think the best to do is to watch them in the canter past, follow the market, see if there's any follow through with regards to any of the first timers. Other than that, I can't add much. I just hope I get through the opening leg, because I have gone wide.
Yes, indeed. So, okay, let's have a look at that suggested bipod from Daryl. It is starting with that first of 8, and please take note of the time at 12:25. Daryl has gone with the 4 horses, and if he survives the first leg, he feels that he can survive. And then at the back, he's got 4 and 6 as the anchors will get to that 4 and 6, who are namely Devils and the Dust, of course, a birthday boy, recent birthday boy, Johnny Finlayson, and the 6, Pinstripe. That's your wrap of our bipod preview. It's the first of 8, getting underway at 12:25 at Scottsville. All right, let's continue on our thoughts on the exotics for Scottsville this afternoon. We get into the place accumulator now. 12:25 is the start of the meeting. It'll be 1,300 meters to start race number 2, as opposed to race number 1. This is a maiden plate, and scratchings have come through. Let me just highlight those. It is 2, Magma Magic, and the 5, Mahove Man. That is, or Mojave Man. Those are the 2 scratchings at 2 and 5. They weren't part of the selection panel. Number 6, Captain Masala seems to be a very popular candidate for best bet on the card this afternoon. I see our selector, Jermaine Maharaj, has gone for the 6, Captain Masala. Are you in the same corner, Mr. Burrows?
Yes, I am. I think definitely the horse to beat. You know, this horse shows pace over 14 and a mile. I see they're dropping him back to 1,200 meters, which I think is the right move. He hasn't run since September, but Gareth Van Zyl gets them fit. The blinkers stay on. Definitely the right horse in the race for me. And I made the danger run to Rio. He's run some fair races in his career, and his maiden victory is not far away.
Okay, so kick six, Captain Masala certainly does look to be a likely candidate for best bet, and maybe if you are on a tight budget side, looking ahead to the weekend, you may just hazard a chance and bank at the six, Captain Masala, or do you?
I've actually left him out, Cecil.
I thought so.
I'll tell you why. His latest 2 runs were very good efforts. I know they look decent on paper, but Yara was a horse that was ready to win. And then I think he must have picked up an injury or something must have gone wrong, because he's been off the track for 4.5 months.
Yeah.
Now he's coming back over a distance short of his best, what appears to be short of his best on paper. I just don't know his well-being, because why was he rested for such a lengthy period? I don't know. So I've got my doubts over him. If he's fancied in his first up start, I can certainly put him into all, well, I would certainly put him into all play, but I just don't know what actually happened that he's been off the track for quite some time. Heavens Will, now we saw this combination team up for a winner in the last race at Hollywood Bets Greyville with Trafalgar Square. I know he's form line suspect, but then again, this isn't a strong field whatsoever. So he forms part of my play. He's fit and he improved nicely with the blinkers. If number 10 wasn't carded with blinkers, I would have banked him, because I thought his form is probably the strongest coming to this race, and he runs his best races at Scottsville. But the blinkers gone for the first time. I don't know how he's going to react with them on in a race, or even going down to the start. So I've got numbers 9 and 10. But based on number 10's last start, when he was well clear of the balance of the field, I'm leaning towards him over the 9. So 10 from 9 for me. I've got respect for numbers 6 and 7. Once again, not confident going into this race. I hope I get through.
Okay, so it is a 9 and 10 for Daryl in that first leg of the PA. And Mr. Burrows does suggest that the sixth Captain Masala, certainly he's in a bit of agreement that could be the best bet on the card. Let us get closer to the race and see if there is some concerted support for the sixth. That is a 3-year-old son of William Longsword. So 9 and 10, as Daryl just confirmed there. He's gone wide in a couple of legs. That is legs 3, where he's gone 3, 4, and 9. And at the back, he's gone 6 and 9 and 11. 6 is licensed to thrill. The 9, Master Josh, and the 11, Patronage. There are 4 scratchings in that race, but the 3 that are selected by Daryl at this moment in time are certainly taking up their positions in that last. Right, let's look ahead to race 3. We'll be back with the preview to that first leg of the Pick 6. Race 3 at Scottsville should be off at 13:35, and that will be a maiden play to see the start of the Pick 6. And just to highlight on the 3 scratching so far, the 1, Abasi Rakvat, the 2, Duquesne, and the 11, Chief of Staff, leave us with a field of 8. And the form update, number 9, Triton, a runner on Sunday, finished 6th, and that was just over 7.5 lengths behind Madison Valley. So 9 runners in the field. In fact, it is a field of 8 now left in race number 3, Mr. Burrows. Were any of the 3 part of your selection to that first leg of the Pick 6?
Well, Cecil, I've only included numbers 3 and 7. Now, only a poet. I spoke to the owner, Morgan Govender. He's expecting him to win. He's doing well. He stays well. His form's consistent enough. And this is a very weak 2,400-meter maiden. So only a poet, one of the leading lights. And then Band Master. This horse has only had 4 starts, and he's progressing well enough, but I think the extended trip's going to suit him. So I thought the value definitely lay with Band Master. The stable's in good enough form. 3 and 7 should see you through.
3 and 7. Before we do confirm that Pick 6 from Darren. Darren, anything you'd like to add to this field? I see a rainbow of roses. Natty Cosson's got the services of older friend Muzi Yeni in the saddle. He rode it last time out, and it was an improved runner behind a Nightingale Singh.
Yes, I respect her, Cecil. I don't know if you've seen her. She's a massive daughter of by Flower Alley. She's huge, and she's going to take some time to strengthen up and fill out her frame. Last time out, she did improve with the tongue tie. 1 paced, and I think with 53.5 kilograms, Muzi is going to push forward and let her roll and get going early. I can see her featuring over here because this isn't a strong lineup whatsoever. If Only a Poet clearly holds Bandmaster on the Beach Palace run by quite some distance. They were both having in their second start, so I prefer Only a Poet to Bandmaster. Now, in his later start, Ironmonger holds Only a Poet on the Shoot the Rapids run, but Only a Poet was out of his ground turning for home. I'm expecting him to reverse that form, but you know what, MJ Woodnell's stable's in cracking form, and he's had an extra run, Cecil, and they've had a lot of rain in KZN. So Ironmonger comes into the race probably more racing fit. So I think numbers 3, 5, and 8 will dominate.
3, 5, and 8, and of course the value for Mr. Burrows, which we'll see as we put up as a pick 6 selection, should feature number 7 Bandmaster. He's just gone the 2 horses, a 3 that is Only a Poet and the 7 Bandmaster from an informer, Frank Robinson stable, and he's doing so well for Mr. Sid Moodley in those blue and black silks. Right, so it is an outlay of 2,600 Rand. We've got those 2 bankers in legs 3 and 4. That is numbers 8 and 6 respectively. Please be reminded of the off time to race number 3, that first leg of the pick 6, and that is 13 at 35. Okay, all things being equal, we're looking forward to being part of the first jackpot race, and number 4 having survived in that first leg. Now, race number 4. This is a middle stakes. They're going over the staying trip of 2,600 meters. Once again, we have a pretty important scratching in the form of the 2 Twice Golden, whom I see our selector in gold in the computer form had made his first choice. That is Jermaine Maharaj. And to a lesser extent, but still one that could possibly be in the shake-up, is number 5, Duke of Africa. So a field of 8 for race number 4. And I think I've said it to you many a time, and many would agree. Staying races, I just can't get bullish about them. I hope it's different for you.
Not this race, certainly not, Cecil. You know, Sugar Blast, we all recall him being supplemented into the Summer Cup, the Betway Summer Cup. Last time out, I thought he ran above expectations, well, above my expectations, because a mile on the polytrack is fairly fast, and he wasn't disgraced. So now he goes the extra. He's unexposed, but he's been off the track for 2.5 months. Let's see how he goes. Rockfall, probably a gravel specialist, but he's done well over this course and distance. If he can settle in running, that's key. If he just needs to relax. He's always a contender. He's more than capable. But also, I think, has had a great prep going into this race. And once again, I'll touch on the fact that they have missed out a lot of work in KZN. Is of Vernie King, number 9. He's had 2 runs recently, both over distances short of his best. And he was far from disgrace. Last time out, it actually looked like he was travelling sweetly and he was going to get the job done. The winner just quick and better than him. Now he's stepping up to the right distance, Cecil. He's very fit and he should run a bold race. So 3, 4, and 9 for me.
3, 4, and 9. Just before we look at the selection, as far as the Jackpot 1 is concerned, let's hear from Darren if he's got something else that could just be a bonus in adding in if we are so nervous about what we see in the first leg of the jackpot from Daryl. Darren, anything else that catches your eye? Vernie King certainly does look to be on the right path to registering a next career win, which would be win number 3 from 20 outings.
Yes, you know, he's a consistent sort. You know, he's had 19 starts and 15 times in the money. So he's going to run an honest race. Calvin Habib is on 499 winners, so yes, aiming indeed for the 500th winner. But maybe it could come earlier in the card. Sugar Blast, Piet Bunzai SMS'd me or WhatsApped me and said he's saving his money for Sugar Blast the other day. He said they're very bullish. So even though he's rested, the stable are bullish of a big run. Giver's Grace interests me. This filly, I think the further they go, the better. And she went 2,000 meters last time out. She was a runaway winner by almost 4 lengths. And she's only got 52 kilos to shoulder. So I think the Carl Hubertson runner, Carl Dickon in the saddle, Giver's Grace has to go in. So my leading lights are numbers 3, 8, and 9. I've got respect for numbers 4, 7, and 10 as well.
All right, let's have a look at the selection from Daryl. I think the best way there, I guess, for him and for some would be to go the distance as far as the field itself, 1 to 10, and that would include the scratching of the 5 Duke of Africa as well as the 2. Perhaps you could remove one of those scratchings and it would reduce your outlay, which is already quite reasonable at 100 Rand. The bankers are coming in legs 2 and 3, numbers 8 and 68 in the next race. That is Hot Streak, and the 6 in the penultimate leg, and that would be Pinstripe. Right, that is Jackpot 1, and that is off with the running of race number 4. Now let's move on to the next few races. It is race number 5 that we will be looking at next. Jurgens Govender and Rachel Fennecker team up as a trainer and a jockey respectively with what is a favorite that seems to be finding the support. That is Mysterious Girl, a 4-year-old daughter of Rabada, looking for that third winner from 16 outings in race number 5. How do you see the 5th race as far as the distance is concerned, Mr. Burrows? We drop back into a 1750, and this has got an average merit rating of 60.
Competitive race, Cecil, as the other races are as well. Now, Hot Strike. You know, I've been waiting for this filly to return to best form. Off her last run rating of 54, she absolutely trotted up. And she had ability early in her career. She went off the boil. I watched her go down to the start a couple of times, and she was a bit scratchy. And last time out, she was striding out beautifully. And I just get the feeling that she can follow up and build on that last victory in this type of company. Her dangers would be Sky Tricks. She tries the extended trip. I'm not sure she'll see it out. There is question marks because she did win her debut over 1,000 meters. And she's got 61.5 for a 3-year-old. So it's not going to be easy. Mysterious Girl. She's got a chance, but she has got 60 kilos to shoulder. That's the reason why I thought Hot Strike, receiving weight from younger horses and in form.
Okay, so that is what, each way selection or it's suggestion, or is that a strike on the nose?
I would go each way. You got value there.
Indeed, that is number 8, Hot Strike. And is your suggested play for race number 5, Mr. Marie?
So a lot of these fillies and mares appear to be in their place. I mean, they've had their chances. Yeah, you got a filly, Skytrix, extremely well bred, Cecil. She's by Vercingetorix out of a Dynasty mare, who certainly hasn't disgraced herself in her 2 starts to date. Her pace made an effort wasn't a bad one. She sort of stayed on, and I think she could be ahead of the handicapper if she's much more effective over this distance. She still has to prove that she gets it. She's still young, and there's no guarantee that she's gonna see out the 1750 or be at her best over this distance. But if she is, I think this race could be hers for the taking. If you go back to the 3 strands run, Mysterious Girl holds Hot Strike and is better off at the weights. So that's the reason why I've gone numbers 2 and 5. Let me just touch on Jurgens Govender, Cecil. You know, out of his last 8 runners, he's had 6 seconds.
Wow.
So they went for a little bit of a plunge on Big Slick on Monday. They were lucky. Just found one to bet. Good for him. But yeah, he deserves another winner. Shame. So I've gone 2 and 5. I got respect for Darren's horse.
Okay.
Won well last time out. But 2 and 5 for me.
All right, so let's just confirm 2 and 5 for Daryl, but it's our selection from Darren, and that is number 8, Hot Strike, that sees Mark Dixon team up with Inform and busy jockey Serena Moodley. Hot Strike, each way selection, and currently you can get value, as Darren pointed out. It's around 4 to 1, 5 to 1 as we speak, looking ahead to the meeting this afternoon. That is race number 5. Well, the track condition at this moment in time for this afternoon's meeting, starting at 12:25, is good to soft, but there will be a tailwind, which leads me on to Mr. Marie. Does that have any sort of bearing on your selections? Would you alter anything given the tailwind and the good to soft we expect about the tailwind?
Yeah, if there is a tailwind, Cecil, and Devils in Dust manages to get to the front this time, I'd love to have a bet in running and have a few rand on her. Have a look at her form, Cecil. She is much more effective when handy, if not leading. That hasn't been the case recently. She was a bit away after her penultimate start. Fair comeback effort. You can see she was just midfield throughout on the poly track. I'm hoping Muzi bounces her because she's going to strip fitter. We've seen the stable come to form. Jono Finlayson's having a good time of things recently, and long may it last. But I think now that she strips fitter, and if Muzi gets into the race early, she could bounce back to her best. Pinstripe, very impressed that she won over the 1400 at Grable last time out. I thought she's looking for much further, but she did it nicely, and she's another one that could be well ahead of the handicapper over this sort of distance. She should be able to go on with it because she looks quite useful.
Right, Pinstripes. The mother was the Bambino Stripes.
Yes.
If memory serves me right, Dennis Drive brought Bambino Stripes to Joburg, and it won, if not the classic, one of those filly races, racing those Norwegian silks. As we cross over to Mr. Burrows, can you remember what race it was during one of our seasons when Bambino Stripes came through? Dennis was having a great time of it. He was raiding the Western Cape with the likes of Beach Beauty. And he came up here with the likes of Bambino Stripes and also cleaned up. Darren, do you remember that? Was it the classic that he won with Bambino Stripes?
Yes, she did. She won the SA Fillies Classic when it was a Grade 1 still over 1800. She won from, I think, 1300 to 1800 meters. And this filly reminds me of Bambino Stripes, her dam. She's big. She's got size about her. She's got a massive action. And, you know, when I saw her during the race last time out, I actually tipped her from 7-1 into 4-1. And when I saw her halfway, I was like, yo, this filly needs further because she's going to take time to gather that big action. And that's exactly what happened. But her class carried her through. She got up to beat quite a decent maiden field. And I just get the feeling this step up to this trip and that long run in at Scottsville is going to suit her down to the ground. So even though she's got the maximum of 62 kilos, she's a very big filly. And Sean Veal retains the ride. So I'm taking my chances. I'm having a strike on Pinstripe.
And we will, I think, follow suit and also have a bit of a strike on number 6, the Pinstripe. The pedigree alone is of influence. In-form breeders, Aventor Thoroughbred, in-form owners. That is Tony Peter and Suzette Viljoen. And Sean Veal, he has certainly come back with a bang and making up for lost time. So that is a confident selection as a win bet in race number 6, the last leg of the bipod, and that is Pinstripe, looking to make it back-to-back victories.